Next in our lineup, put your hands together for Rocco Kalas.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rocco Kalas, and a lot of you may know me from various organizations and events around the community. But tonight, I speak to you as a child of an addict with addiction in the family and the community. How many of you knows or know someone who's been addicted to drugs? Could be a friend, relative, colleague, or maybe even you. According to statistics, 1 in 5 people are more than likely addicted to drugs. And did you know, according to the Orlando Recovery Center, children are 8 times more likely to experience addiction just like their parents. And according to that same source, abuse and neglect cases reported across the nation are closely correlated with drug addiction. Over 20 million Americans suffer from addiction daily, and in this county alone, over 500 deaths have occurred within the past 3 years in regards to opioid and drug abuse. So I come here tonight to educate and encourage people to be proactive and have a spotlight on this issue, because it not only affects the addict, it affects us. Growing up, I had the experience of having 2 teenage parents. I was young enough to see them struggle, and from there we grew on. But it was up until I was 5 or 6 years old, I didn't have anything to do with my father. That's because he was a lifelong addict, starting in his teens and intermittently throughout his adult life. But I want to emphasize, excuse me, dealing with my father when he was clean were some of the best years of my life. But it was the drug addict years that were a nightmare I never want to face again. But my father, he picked himself up. He got our family together. He married my mother. My mother went on to college and got her career in radiology. We bought the house, we had the dog, we had the cars, we had a nice family vacations. We were living the American dream. But as they say, sometimes the magic fades too fast. And fast forward to me being 14, 15 years old, I start noticing things that are kind of odd. He starts losing weight, he's out all the time, all these weird people coming in and out. Something's not right. And then one day, he starts hallucinating. He starts grabbing his gun, he starts knocking on the door, asking all these questions and making these impossible accusations, until finally my mother and I could not handle it anymore. And we had to Baker Act him and call the police. We later found out that he had a pill addiction. We were devastated, but my mother and I were determined to keep our family together. So over the next few years, we revolved our lives around parole dates, court dates, going in and out of the state, everything to do to get him better. But in order to achieve recovery, a person has to want it. Unfortunately, he didn't want it at the time, and tomorrow he spends his 45th birthday in prison. So you ask yourself, was it me? Was it my fault? Why me? But you realize it's not nobody's fault. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. Everything starts in the brain. Your brain is the respiratory system for your actions, your thoughts, your morals, everything you do. And when you do drugs, all that gets thrown away. What happened to my father is sad, but you pick up, you move forward, and you strive on. Sometimes you'll have that memory that makes you laugh, and sometimes you'll have that memory that makes you cry. But I come here tonight because I want to encourage people and educate people that there are a lot of resources in just this area alone to help not only the addict, but for you. Around here, you have the Salvation Army, you have the Stewart Marchman Act, you have the Daytona Intergroup, you have various hotlines, therapists, NA meetings, AA meetings, everything to move forward. I'm not afraid to say I utilize these resources to help me get on this stage tonight. So I leave you with, thank you. Thank you. So, 1 in 5 people only recover from drug addiction through sobriety. So let's try to raise that number tonight. And I leave you with this quote: "Let recovery come first, so your life won't become last." Thank you.